The feeling of a presence, the sensation that someone or something is nearby, is a common experience in our daily lives. It can appear in different ways, from subtle fleeting feelings to intense hallucinations of dark entities or divine visions. Are these experiences merely illusions and hallucinations influenced by a superstitious or mystical mindset? Or are they projections of our own inner selves, reflections of our feelings of disconnect? Do we imagine these presences due to our beliefs or fears? Or do they reflect our own inner struggles and feelings of detachment? Let us delve deeper into the historical significance of felt presence, its intricate ties to religion and folklore, and the ongoing scientific efforts aimed at unraveling the mysteries surrounding these extraordinary occurrences. In 1933, British explorer Frank Smythe embarked on a solo journey to conquer Mount Everest. However, throughout his ascent, he couldn't escape the persistent sensation that he wasn't alone. Despite being separated from his team, Smythe experienced hallucinations, perceiving the presence of another climber accompanying him. This feeling was so vivid that he even shared a piece of cake with his invisible companion. Other mountaineers scaling Mount Everest have also experienced these phantoms, often described as guardian angels, offering both survival assistance and an eerie sense of solace. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as the third man factor. Among mountaineers and explorers, the reduced oxygen supplied to the brain at high altitudes can contribute to hallucinations. However, there is another intriguing aspect to consider: the role of survival. Could it be that the mind conjures up a presence to aid us in difficult situations? In the following, we will delve into the mysteries of felt presence, unraveling the triggering factors that can lead to encountering this phenomenon, and exploring how scientists have attempted to recreate the experience of felt presence. Felt presence is a common experience where individuals feel the presence of someone or something nearby. It can take different forms, from intense hallucinations during sleep paralysis or sensory deprivation to subtle feelings that someone is there. Often, felt presence has negative associations, especially when it feels incredibly real during sleep paralysis, leading to encounters with demonic entities, ghosts, intruders, and other frightening figures. However, felt presence can also be positive, offering comfort and reassurance, such as in visions of divine beings or deceased loved ones. Even during childhood, the concept of presences holds great significance. Children often perceive their toys as having a sense of life, and they may believe that monsters hide in closets or under beds. Imaginary friends provide companionship and support, helping children cope with feelings of loneliness, distress, or uncertainty. As people grow into adulthood, these entities typically fade away, replaced by rational explanations guided by conventional logic to understand the world around them. In the scientific domain, felt presence experiences are commonly categorized as hallucinations, and at times, even as delusions. Scientific research primarily focuses on studying these experiences when they are linked to specific neurological or psychiatric conditions, like sleep paralysis or epileptic auras, and particularly if they cause significant distress to individuals. Unfortunately, other types of felt presence that occur beyond these specific contexts tend to be disregarded, seen as relics of superstitious or primitive beliefs found in popular or folk culture. The phenomenon of felt presence exhibits a strong correlation with specific environmental contexts. Through careful examination of subjective experiences and first-hand testimonies, it is discernible that these contexts can be broadly classified into two categories. The first category encompasses extreme environments characterized by factors such as high-altitude mountaineering, participation in research expeditions, or experiences recounted by military personnel engaged in prolonged solitary conditions. Within these circumstances, the confluence of external stressors and the individual's coping mechanisms may contribute to the emergence of felt presence phenomena. The second category pertains to more commonplace environments that evoke subtle yet significant experiences of felt presence. This includes situations where individuals accustomed to living with others suddenly find themselves in solitude. In such instances, individuals may encounter an unexplained sense of presence, perceiving fleeting shapes and figures amidst shadows. This experience can instill a feeling of vulnerability, as if there is a constant potential for intrusion and an overarching sense of insecurity. Certain environments possess a stronger association with felt presence experiences compared to others. Sacred spaces, which are believed to be inhabited by the divine, exhibit this unique quality, both in explicit religious contexts and in more subtle, nuanced ways. Both religious and non-religious individuals are drawn to sacred places of worship, sites connected to religious traditions, locations where divine messengers are believed to have delivered teachings, areas associated with revelations, or places of significance related to influential figures. Specifically, places associated with birth and death hold a particular significance. Cemeteries, for example, evoke a mysterious fascination in addition to a sense of felt presence. Religious and cultural traditions have emerged around these transitional spaces between earthly existence and the afterlife. Such traditions revolve around religious concepts of hope, peace, and the supernatural realm. Henri Fuseli's painting, The Nightmare, is a renowned and iconic piece of art that has captivated viewers for centuries. Painted in 1781, it portrays a scene of haunting and psychological intensity. In the center of the composition, a young woman lies on a bed, seemingly in a state of deep sleep. Her body is limp, vulnerable, and at the mercy of her dreams. Above her, a demonic creature, often interpreted as an incubus, perches on her chest, exerting a malevolent influence. The painting evokes a sense of terror and unease, blurring the boundaries between the real and the imaginary. Fuseli masterfully captures the atmosphere of a nightmare, with its dark and mysterious undertones. For those who have experienced or read about it, they know that the painting also depicts hallucinations associated with sleep paralysis. The most common form of the felt presence occurs during sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a normal and harmless phenomenon that occurs during the transition between sleep and wakefulness, such as when falling asleep or waking up. It involves temporary paralysis of the body and is often accompanied by vivid and disturbing hallucinations. During sleep paralysis, individuals may hear disturbing or buzzing sounds, see shadows or strange creatures in their surroundings, and even feel sensations of touch or pressure on their body. These sensations can be so intense that they are mistakenly interpreted as acts of violence or even sexual assault. From a neurobiological perspective, sleep paralysis is associated with a phenomenon called state dissociation. This occurs during elements of rapid eye movement sleep, which is associated with vivid dreaming, intrude into wakefulness, creating a paradoxical and unique experience of reality. While the sensation of presence during sleep paralysis typically lasts for a short duration, some episodes can be extremely detailed, induce panic, and have long-lasting effects, causing stress or trauma. In religion, the concept of felt presence is essential for understanding the divine. People have shared countless personal encounters with the divine, which are well documented in the writings of mystics. Believers often describe intense sensations of presence, like experiencing the vivid presence of Jesus. Pilgrims travel long distances to be in the presence of these sacred objects. Similarly, in many Hindu traditions, devotional images and objects are believed to house the presence of the deity. These objects are not mere idols but are thought to be inhabited by the divine essence itself. It could be argued that religious experiences would be incomplete without the phenomenon of felt presence. The concept of the divine often exemplifies a quintessential form of felt presence, a longing or conception of experiencing the presence even in the absence of a specific personal incident. Swiss researchers investigated the potential neural mechanisms underlying the feeling of presence. They focused on individuals with epilepsy and sensory-motor problems who reported experiencing a presence nearby. Through their analysis, they identified damage in 3 specific brain regions: the temporoparietal junction, the insula, and the frontoparietal cortex. To further explore these findings, the researchers utilized a robot experiment. The experiment involved a master robot and a slave robot. Blindfolded volunteers controlled the master robot with one hand, while the slave robot was positioned behind them and in contact with their back. The volunteers also received tactile feedback, allowing them to feel the force applied by the robot on their fingers. The sensation of presence emerged when there was a 500 millisecond delay between the movements of the volunteers' hands and the touch on their backs. Remarkably, 5 out of 17 participants spontaneously reported feeling a presence without any direct inquiry. The researchers suggest that the brain attributes the touch to the presence of someone standing behind, when confronted with a mismatch between internal bodily signals related to arm movements and the out-of-sync sensation of touch on the back. In addition, another intriguing hypothesis proposes that the sensation of presence could be influenced by the manipulation of time and space. This concept draws upon concepts from theoretical physics, such as wormhole theory and the distortion of spacetime caused by intense gravitational fields near astronomical objects like quasars, pulsars, and neutron stars. According to this hypothesis, the bending and alteration of gravity, time, and distance could potentially create conditions that cue the apparition of a presence. These altered states of spacetime may give rise to a perception of a force or entity emanating from beneath or beyond physical boundaries. This idea expands the understanding of the presence phenomenon beyond purely neurobiological explanations and incorporates concepts from physics to explore the potential role of spacetime manipulation. It suggests that the perception of presence may be influenced by complex interactions between the consciousness and the fabric of the universe itself. The phenomenon of felt presence carries profound implications for our religious and spiritual experiences, creativity, and our sense of self in relation to others. It encompasses a diverse array of presence-related phenomena, ranging from unsettling and eerie encounters to comforting and deeply meaningful ones. But at the core of all these experiences lies a fundamental receptiveness or openness to such encounters. These circumstances raise captivating inquiries. Can we deliberately create the optimal conditions to invite the presence of these experiences? Is there a specific combination of factors that can invoke these mystical encounters? Or do these phenomena permeate our ordinary existence, infusing it with vitality and forging connections to the mystical realm? Delving into these inquiries enables us to gain insights into the intricacies of human consciousness, the boundaries between the physical and spiritual dimensions, and the profound impact that these experiences can have on our overall well-being and our understanding of reality.